Hello and welcome back to the final installment of the Fashion Photography Masterclass. My name is Nas and I'm going to be going through with you the selection and editing process for your final images. So you've finally done your photo shoot, you've come up with your idea, created a mood board, sourced all your looks, created your team, and now you've actually carried out the photo shoot. Now it's time to put it all together to create your final images and your final outcome. This part of the process is super important as these will be the final images for the project and will clearly show what your initial ideas were. These will also be the images that you will include in your portfolio going forward, as well as your team and the model. They might include these in their portfolio as well. So it's really important that you make an informed decision as to your selections and why you chose those images. I've said this many times before, but you might want to keep your mood board and your inspirations to hand while you're making your selections. This will just help to keep your initial idea and any themes that you had at the forefront of your mind when making your selections. One tip I'd give is to have a clear idea of how many images you want your final project to have. You may only want one image per look, or you might want 4 with different shot types. It's really up to you, but I'd have an idea of how many images you want your final project to have so you can have this at the forefront of your mind when making your selections. I'm now going to show you some practical ways that you can do your selection process to help make the process a little bit easier. I'm going to be going through how you might do this using a mobile phone, as well as how you might do this using a compact camera. Here I have an image I took quite a while ago, and I'm just going to show you one of the ways that you can start to make your selection process easier. So you can click the icon on the left at the bottom with the arrow, and that will bring up a number of options. You want to select the third one down, which says add to album, and this will create a whole new album, and you can just keep adding each selection to this album. I've named mine photo shoot just for the sake of this masterclass, but you can name yours whatever you want to. So once you press save, the image goes into that album, and you can continue to save all the rest of your images that you've selected into the same album, so they're all there in one place. Another way to make your selection is to make use of the favorites icon in the middle of the screen. It's the heart icon which allows you to favorite any images you have, and it will all get saved down into a favorites folder. If you've used a compact camera or a DSLR, you might want to use this method instead. So this is just using iPhoto on a Mac computer. All I've done so far is import my images into iPhoto. You're then going to want to click into your images, and don't forget to have a scroll in just so you can have a look at the details. I then just went through each image, having a look, seeing what I preferred and what I thought worked best. Once you've chosen an image that captures your eye, all you need to do is press the heart icon at the top. This will now be included in your favorites folder, which you can find on the left hand side. Once you click into that, you'll see any favorites that you've hearted. Here are the 2 I did just now. And if you do want to get rid of any that you thought you liked but maybe didn't make the final cut, you can just click the heart button again and it will be automatically removed from the favorites folder. Now you've done your selection process and you're happy with the final images you've selected for your project, it's now time to move on to editing. I'm going to show you some ways that you can edit your photos using apps, but I'm also going to point you in the right direction as to some materials that will help you edit your pictures if you're not doing this on a mobile phone. Here we have our image ready for our edits. So I've just clicked into the edit button on the iPhone, and I just want to quickly show you first of all that you can use the auto button for auto adjustments. It doesn't offer much control, but it is good to get a rough idea of how the final image will look. Here I'm just having a play around with some of the settings. I would suggest taking them all to the highest point and the lowest point individually, just so you can see what difference this makes to the image. As you can see here, some of these settings make a really big difference to the final outcome, so I'd encourage you to have a play around with these. Each setting is important and plays a vital role to the final image outcome. I would say, however, to pay closer attention to a few key settings. Those include exposure, contrast, warmth, black point, and the brilliance. These will really indicate how your image will come out in the end, as they play a really important role in the mood and feel of your image. As I said, all of them are important, however these key ones will definitely have you in the right direction in terms of how you want your final image to come out. Alternatively, you can use an editing app. Here I've included VSCO, which is a really good one that I've used before as well. This is really good because they're free and it offers you some more options other to the ones that you have on your phone. If you are looking for something a bit more technical or want to try another editor, you can use programs such as Lightroom or Photoshop to achieve your results. These are a lot more technical, but there's loads of tutorials online to help you. Thank you for taking part in the Fashion Photography Masterclass. I really hope you've enjoyed it and taken away lots of information and lots of tips to get you started if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.